All right. Sorry about that. We're back. So, as are you guys seeing my screen? Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, miss.
Seeing this, but I want to show. All right. So earlier, this is just an overview of what you, I went through some of it with you before when it comes to chapter 4. And I am going to go through it briefly and then move quickly into chapter 5. Chapter 4, as I said, you must focus on, where is it? It's all about the analysis of the raw data. It is not the interpretation of it. So it's two different things. You're not putting any twist to, you're not putting any twist to the work, to the data that you would have collected. All you're doing, you are capturing that information, put that information into tables or charts or graph, and then you say exactly what what the respondents or the participants would have said. All right. So here is an example. It says the respondents who were randomly selected were asked to identify their sex and senior high school. So this was a question. And what happens? Maybe, I'm not sure. 25, 26 participants. And of the 26 participants, it shows clearly that 13 of them, and it's color coded, 13 of them males between, and that's a frequency, and then it shows another 3 and another 11, another 26. And this document, it's what you are reading from. You're preparing your mind that you have to, right? So when you are preparing your work, look, I have to use graphs. And I have to, from the graph, I am reading this. I have to explain this eventually when it comes to the interpretation of the data. Right? So you're capturing the information, the raw data. You said exactly if this is interview question 1, interview question 2, interview question 3, or questionnaire from questionnaire, question 1, or questionnaire question 2, whatever. So the items, it's been done individually, or you put them in groups based on your research questions or based on your concept, the different concepts that we spoke of earlier. Earlier. So you need to zero in on it. I'm not gonna go through this anymore because we went through it before. Yeah. Another thing is for those who, God, I don't. Man. Right. And here is just an example of a graph and how you, not a graph, a chart. Sorry, a graph. And how you represent the information, right? This is about the distribution of respondents by sex. And it says, what can be said about this data? What can be said about the data is what you would have gathered. And you say exactly what it is. How many questionnaires were distributed? And how many males, when you analyze it, how many males and how many females or how many um grade 1 teachers or grade 2 teachers, right? So you say exactly what it is. No, no sugarcoating. You just write it as is. And it goes on. I'm not going through this again, back and forth. So you just have an idea of what's going on. So I'm moving right to 5. Now, in your chapter 5, what it is what is expected of you. You need to now summarize the findings from chapter 4. And in summarizing the findings, you are discussing important things, important items that pops up in chapter 4. You need to place the research findings in the context of the current literature, in the context of your literature. So here is where you have to go back to your chapter. You must show, or you must connect your work with your lit review. So you must bring back the lit review. The lit review is not there as fashion. You are working your lit review now in chapter 5. It says you're going to compare and you contrast research findings with other relevant studies. So when you examining your work, you are looking for what is positive came out of the study, what's negative, and you are aligning with your lit review, aligning it with lit review. Examine the strengths and the weaknesses of the research. Remember, in chapter 1, you would have talked about the delimitation, the limitation. So now you are bringing back that thought. You are bringing that work, the limitation, the delimitation into chapter 5 as your limitation. What are the implications of your findings? Then we talk about the implications of your findings. Think about the ministry. Think about the parents. Think about the society widely. Don't narrow yourself. Don't narrow yourself. So you write, you think about the implications, and then you align that to the findings. And you're able to make recommendations. The recommendations are as a result of the implications, are as a result of the findings, are as a result of your discussion, because chapter 5, it's all about the discussion, a summary of the findings. And then you would also think about future studies. Do you think this study somebody can take your study and do some more work? Because your study was narrowed just a specific population. Do you think another population can be included in that study? So think about it along that line when you are coining chapter 5. It's a discussion, it's a summary of the findings, it's the alignment of your work to current literature, context of the literature. You are examining your work based on the strengths or positive and the negative things came out of the study, and it must connect to chapter 2. So I'm going to just put here chapter 5 and chapter 2. In this chapter, no graphs, no tables, no charts. Must be here. This is writing and you're explaining your work, and this is your interpretation of your study. It is your work. Good. Now, this slide is important because it speaks directly to how you are going to fashion the writing of your findings, right? What you need to do, always remember, you must restate, your the purpose of your study. What's the purpose of this study? So you are restating the purpose of your study at all times. In chapter 3, in chapter 4, in chapter 5, you must restate your purpose of your study. So it says restate the results presented in chapter 4. And when it says to restate the results that presented in chapter 4, what you need to do, you are you are you are coining it, or you are tailoring that research, the report in chapter 4 and chapter 5. That's why chapter 4 is just the analysis of this data. Analyze it, you write it down, that's it. Chapter 5 is where you're focusing on the interpretation of the finding. So you bring back knowledge of chapter 4 into 5. Not much. Then it says to write a clear, straightforward manner. No interpretation of the results. So you now in your findings, this is how you interpret it, and you are expressing yourself. It's like Marcella got a cut on her face, right? You cannot write back, Marcella's got a cut on her face. You are going to explain, what do you think based on your findings? Based on your findings, what are the thoughts? What are the thoughts? So you are writing on that, but you are going back and forth with your purpose. What's the purpose of your study? Right? Link your findings to your research questions. Where are the research questions in this whole basket of knowledge? Where is the hypothesis? For those who are doing quantitative study, will have gone down the road to write up your hypothesis. Link your work to your conceptual framework. Where is it? You must bring back that knowledge. So chapter 2, the whole of chapter 2 must manifest itself in chapter 5. Right? It says usually in this chapter, it says present unusual findings. What hypothetically, what do you think would happen? So you must have the hypothetical approach in your writing. It's a summary writing. right? Interpretation of findings. Analyze both the significant findings and those that are not significant. So you're highlighting them. You're showing the reader that you understand what you are doing and you want them to read your work. All right. Where the results what you predicted, that is only based on your research questions. So that's why when you're analyzing the data, you are connecting it to your research questions to make sure that your research questions are answered. If your research questions aren't answered, then you're in trouble, right? And you need to state clearly the directions of your research because what normally happens when you're writing paper? You set out to walk a straight path, right? 1 minute, Tiana. You set out to walk a straight path, and for some reason, there are deviations. You need to talk about the deviations. It's not that it's wrong, but you need to talk about the deviation. You need to show us your deviation in your interpretation of your findings. Yes, Tiana, lower your hand and let me hear you.
Hi, Miss. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tiana.
We're linking our findings and so to the research questions, right? When we're doing
Yes.
the interpretation, do we have to write the answers to the research question from what we would have gathered? Like to say, research question one, uh, was finding out like what is this or whatever, and then you have to say, well, from data gathered the answer to this question is, do we have to do it in like that format to show that we answered each question?
Okay. So, yes, so good. Point, very good point, and you are correct. Remember, you have to interpret every question. You have to present every question. So if you have, let us say you um qualitative study, maybe it's an interview, maybe 10 parents, right? So question one, question one is 10 parents would have had to answer question one, right? So you're summarizing that question one for your interview questions. Here is an example where the student looked at sex, male or female, right? Or otherwise, or what have you. And so this was done across for each questionnaire. So for, let us say it was a hundred participants, right? So if you, I just bring this out so that you can see. This is an example how you structure it. I don't know if I was able to answer your question, Tiana.
Miss, in a kind of a way, but what I really want to know is, all right, yeah, we do it this way. We finished this in chapter 4. But in chapter
Yeah,
5 now we are doing the interpretation, right? And then you said
yeah.
that we have to make sure that our findings were able to answer each research question, not the interview question or questionnaire question, the
Good.
research questions. So I'm asking
Right.
if we have to like write during our interpretation, if we have to write each research question and then give the answer for it, like from findings we gathered that this research question, the answer is xyz. That's what I mean, like.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. And you during the now you're in chapter 5. And this is what you're going to do. You are writing your findings based on your research questions or based on your concepts. So everything must align to or connect to your research questions or your concept. You have your own structure in mind. But what is the catch for chapter 5? You must use chapter 4. You must connect your chapter 5 to chapter 4. Right? So you're correct. That is how you get it done. But you now you're explaining it. You're explaining the whole process. So when you're able to link aspects of chapter 4, because research question 1, based on research question 1, maybe 2 concepts came out or 3. So you are writing along along the line of the 3 concepts, and you are linking it to your chapter 2. Because literature plays an important role in helping to analyze or interpret what the data really is, really was about. Okay, Tiana, any other question from anyone else before we move on?
Miss, I understand now. I understand
It's
what I
clear
have to do
now?
there.
Good.
Yes, very,
Thanks.
very clear now.
Any other? Good. So this is it. It says that you analyze both the significant findings and those that are not significant. And this can only come based on your research questions, based on how you would structure your chapter 5. I can't tell you how to structure your chapter 5 to write about your findings. But what I know, you need to answer those research questions. So it can be based on research questions or it can be based on your concept, but they must connect to your research questions. Any other queries, comments before I move, before we continue? Good. The question is, apparently no. So let's move on. The question is, how do the findings expand understanding of the phenomenon under study? That is what you are doing. Whatever is the phenomenon, whatever you are studying, how do the findings expand the understanding? What you need to do now, you're identifying the implications of the findings based on your theory. What about the theory that are theories that you would have used or models? You need to pull that in. You need to show the connection of your conceptual framework or your theoretical framework to your study. Right? So that's another critical area that you need to zero in on when you are structuring chapter 5. And please note the theory don't have to be on, it doesn't have to be at the heading up by itself. It's incorporating in your writing, right? It's incorporating in your findings because you will say, oh, let us say I have a theory, social interaction. So you need to show how social interaction played a meaningful role, or it wasn't that meaningful in your findings. And therefore, you are going to link it to some study that use social interaction, right? So you need to strike a balance. So this is important for you. This here, this one. So if you're doing a capture, make sure you zero in on this, right? So when you finish your interpretation, you finish your discussion, interpretation, you are going to talk about the limitations on your study. Talk about the limitation in your study here in chapter 5. And your summary summary of the chapter, you summarize the chapter and you give that conclusion. What is the thought? Summarize your thoughts. And then you give a conclusion. Now, what happened when you wrote the proposal? Lots of students eliminated the summary per chapter. Every chapter must have a summary. So make sure you summarize each chapter. Now, this work must be done. You're going to change the tense. So when you complete, you start changing your tense, the past tense or future tense. Past, future tense, it's for a report. Yes, I think that is what I want to run with you today. And you can share your thoughts if you have anything to want anything to clarify. You want me to clarify anything? But that is it in a nutshell. What is expected of you in chapter 5? Every chapter must have an introduction of the chapter. And after the introduction, you give an overview of what the chapter entails. So if you don't have it, make sure you address it. Address it. Make sure you have your conclusion, a summary of every chapter. All right. So that is it for me to you today, so you can understand that chapter 4 and chapter 5, there's a distinction between the two, but you still have to pull that knowledge of chapter 4 into chapter 5 because you're expanding on it. There's where you're showcasing your writing skills. Your research skills would have completed in chapter 4, but your writing skills in chapter 5.
Actually, Miss, good afternoon. Miss, are you gonna give me a feedback on my stuff? Probably something that I need to adjust or so.
Yes, I will. I don't know if you were the person who Queenie, sorry, I'm not sure if you were the person who sent me your work, 2 students, but I marked one when I tried to locate the other one. I wasn't able because my mailbox is bombarded with mails. I didn't get any other work from the rest of your colleagues.
So, Miss, you want me to resend it so
Miss,
you can be because I'm not sure if it would be my own or
yes,
because you responded and you said you responded to the email, so I'm not
I
sure.
responded to the email.
You said thanks received or something like that.
Yes. What happened? Because that mail was sent to because that is the mail I'm sure that came through my University of Guyana's email.
Yeah, that is email I use. Like, I think that's one I've been using all the time to send you my
Yeah,
stuff.
because there's so many the mails are overrun in that mailbox.
So is there another email I can send it to so you can check it through
Yes,
before I start the other chapter?
there is another email, but I didn't check it, but you'll have to use the next email.
Okay, nice.
I'll give it to you now.
Miss,
Go
do we have to
ahead.
resend our stuff? Do we have to resend our stuff? I would have sent mine on Saturday to your other email.
Which one?
The A Elliott.
A Elliott. That's the one I'm trying to look at. No, I didn't check on it. No, you don't have to resend it.
Okay,
You don't have
miss.
to resend.
Okay, miss. Thank you.
So, Miss, can you please type the email in like a text so I can see it before the class ends?
Okay, I will. I will. I will. Any other question, comments, concern? Stop. Somebody? Questions, comments, concern now?
Yes, Miss.
Miss, excuse me. Go ahead.
Miss, once you use a table, you don't have to use a graph, right?
Yes, you're presenting your data, and the more graphs and tables you have in your chapter 4, it will be better.
No, I'm speaking like for, let's say we're looking at question 2, research question 2. If I do it on a table, I still have to do it on a graph?
No, if you want to do a table for question 2, you do a table for question 2. For
Okay.
question 3, I'm doing a pie chart. Well, that's it.
Okay, miss. Another question. In chapter 4, when we're presenting our data, we don't have to quote anything, right? It's just whatever is on the graph or the table, you just write it there, right?
What is there? Whatever is there, that's what you're writing on.
Okay, miss. Thank you.
Miss, one question. Are there any specific headings to go in chapter 4?
Who you want to quote? Who you want to quote? Or what you want to quote?
No, I'm
What
just
is it? Who you want to
speaking
quote?
like if a teacher gave her opinion on something, if I'm to go and look for a quote relating to it to say or justify why she said that or so.
So this is what's going to happen with the quote. You quote based on participant 1 explained or participant 1 stated. What participant 1 stated, you put it in parentheses and that's it. Right? And somebody wants to know if anything special for chapter 4. Chapter 4 is all about your interpretation. So you are going to do it however you want to break it down. But for me, I would prefer you do your work based on your research questions. It's pretty easy. Right? For me, if you do it like that, it's easy.
Okay, miss.
If not, if you want to use it based on the concepts, go ahead. All right?
Yes, Miss.
Hi,
Thank you.
Miss. Good
And then you
afternoon.
maintain the same flow in discussion in chapter 5.
Hi, Miss.
Hello. You're welcome. Nakisha?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Siri, go ahead.
Miss, I sent you a draft of the chapter 4 last night, but I only did one research question. I just would like to know how soon can I get a response so I can know if I'm on the right track so I can go ahead and do the additional research questions.
All right, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna check on everybody's stuff tonight, and you guys are gonna get it tomorrow.
Okay, Miss. Thank you.
All right. Once it is there, I will browse through it, see what it is, and you're gonna get your feedback tomorrow. Tonight,
Okay.
I'm gonna send it. You'll get it before tomorrow, the closing of tomorrow.
Okay, Miss.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Miss,
Yes.
I haven't sent mine as yet. I had some issues with it and I got some clarity. So I plan to
Okay.
do some work on it tonight. Can I send you it early in the morning and get a feedback tomorrow too?
Sure, I'll try. I'll try.
All right, no problem.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm. Right. So just it's Miss anyone knows anything about Mr. Bisnot? Any
Okay.
contact, Mr. Bisnot? No?
No, Miss.
All right. So I am going to let me send this email. I have so many things open up here one time. I am trying to get this email and send it to you. So you guys can get it. On Elliott. This is it. On this. Make sure I get a correct email address. We get a correct email address and I have to close some things here first. Let me just close. I'm getting in trouble. I don't know, my system just is what A Elliott at uh, A Elliott 04 at gmail.com. Open it and see. Okay, Nikisha, I have yours. Alicia, I have yours. It's only the two. Nikisha and Alicia. Those are the two I have here, not
Yes, miss.
touched. Right. So I have the two untouched, and you guys are gonna get it tonight in the morning. I'll take a sleep, and then
Okay, Miss.
okay. Let me just put
Miss,
it
can you just
here.
repeat the
I'm putting
email
it.
once?
I'm coming,
Okay.
Boo. I'm coming here. See? I don't know. Oh, hey, Elliott. Man, AELIOTT04@gmail.com. You got it? Just check and see.
Yes, Miss. Thank you.
All right. Hey, Elliott, it's at the bottom. Let me do it over. Guys, you got it? You got it right? I don't know. It's just coming up at the bottom of this meeting link.
Yes, Miss, we got it.
All right, good. So for those who haven't sent anything for me to browse through to know, well, okay, if I like what is going on or I don't like what's going on, please, you have some
Miss, I
time. Let me
think,
see it.
excuse me, Miss, I think for your email that you sent, you were missing a L before the E.
It's 2 L's?
Miss, the email that I would have sent mine to is ALELLIOTT04. I would have sent it in the chat. That's the one I would have sent my assignment to.
I didn't put 2 T's.
Miss,
Put
you
2
have
T's.
A and then you have, no, Miss, you have A and then you have Elliott.
Yeah, it's two different
Eh?
email you sent.
Oh, shucks. No, the second one, not this one here. Not the
Okay.
first one. It's
Because when I popped it
AL.
up just now, I was seeing a different picture of someone else. So I didn't
Miss,
send it
I
to
would
that
have sent
person.
the email in the chat. I sent
Thanks.
it in
It's AL Elliott. It's AL Elliott. So I'm going to leave this open. So I know that I'm going to work on this for you. Send it. And you know that it's hot needle burning thread. After the 30th, you guys will be on your one to wrap up your work, right? All right. Any other, anything you want? Or you just want to get, it's somebody, one of your colleagues lost her grandmother. Who is that? Miss Mears? Not Mears, Martin. One of your colleagues, I don't know. And she was off. Let me see if I get her. What's her name? What's your name by?
I'm here, miss.
Yeah, oh, okay. Okay. So, ladies, y'all please reach out to each other, see what's happening, give the support. You're going to finish. You have a third semester, your last semester will be a rough semester, right? So, I'm encouraging you to work.
Miss, I was
so that
hoping
you
to
can
see you this
finish it.
weekend.
You want to see me this weekend? Why you want
I
to
was
see me this
hoping to
weekend?
see you last weekend, but then
No,
I
I had
heard you
something
weren't
last
around.
Last weekend was a blow to me. So Monday we were at the hospital. And there was hospital.
I
I'm
was so
sorry.
excited.
So,
I
so all
asked
you
for you,
guys,
but
all you guys are Monday, right?
Yes, miss.
All right. All right. So I can see you guys till in July. All right. Don't worry. I'm around to help you. Don't be afraid. You will finish. All right.
Yes, miss.
Don't be afraid. You will finish. So, my love to all of you. Stay safe. Y'all, if it's possible, take the injection. If not, stay in all the time. Protect yourself. Protect others. And let me get to work so I can give you some additional guidance. And then we are going to meet again next week. But what I want to do for the last 2 weeks, we're going to work until the 5th of July. So for the 28th and the 5th of July, those 2 weeks, I'm going to do face to in the one-on-one. But I can do all, so I'll split you in 2 groups, right? So one group, I'm gonna do one-on-one. No, I will do it next. I'll do next week and the following week one-on-one, man. Or you want me to do the 28th and the 5th? Hello.
it's like how you have our like how we're sending in stuff to you that you'll be checking. I think probably next week you can give us a little feedback on what you would have sent.
Okay. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. Because you guys are getting feedback. My Miss Elliott going away and leave you all the time. Hello. So we'll work next week. And based on the outcome, next week I'm not gonna do this. It's just for me to go through, see what's happening. And if I work with 3 of you face one-on-one next week or 4, whatever, and then the other week pushing a few more, and then the next week pushing some more, and so on and then I just give you some nudge as we go along. Wake up, get into the end, finish your work. All right?
Yes, miss.
It's time for me to eat.
Yes, miss.
Yeah. All right. Ladies, thank you for your time. Please reach out to Bisnot if he's not replying to me at all. I don't know what's going on now. All right. So talk to you later. Please send your work so I
And
can
so
see the draft.
this recording will be on Moodle?
I will upload it.
Okay, miss.
This is not a Moodle link. It's not a Moodle link. It's just that you see what happened. I don't know what I wasn't getting in. And when I got in, I logged in as a participant. And then I don't know where's the host. And who is the host? So I have the recording. I will upload it.
Okay, miss. Or you could send it to the group because he is
I will send it,
YouTube.
yes. Yeah, it's on right.
Yes,
I'll give you the link.
Yes, miss.
I'll give you the link and give you the link. Let me see if I can get the link right now.
Miss, excuse me.
Yeah.
I was trying to get onto Moodle for your class and I'm not getting in. It's saying restricted.
You're not getting in?
No, it's saying restricted only to students of Miss Elliott, and I'm not getting to go in. I don't know if it's because I was with the other lecturer before.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
not sure.
that's it. Yeah. It's that. Oh.
So how can I get to go in?
I'll share the work. I'll share it with you because I am not the admin for the for that site. As the admin who's responsible for making all the changes and all of that.
All right, Miss.
Right, but thanks. Just remind me, and I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
Hurting me, man. All right. Let me send this link to everybody one time.